Bad news for the Lakers. I mean, Fred, we were talking earlier in the program about this big win in Dallas, right?
Yep.
LeBron hurt himself in the game
Yeah.
and was able to finish.
Right.
Now, reports from all the NBA guys now are saying that LeBron James is going to be out for multiple weeks. Fred, how do you reevaluate this and look at the Lakers going forward? Because to me, their season, if LeBron's going to miss 2 weeks, multiple weeks, how many weeks are left? There's only about, a month left? Or 5 weeks?
Yeah.
It's not that many weeks left.
Correct.
Because there's only like 22, 21 games?
They have 20 games left, I
20
think.
games.
Yeah.
So they play what, 3 games a week, 4 games a week? Yeah, so okay. But anyway, 20 games left. He's going to miss multiple weeks. Is the Lakers season, did it just end in Dallas with that miraculous comeback, 27-point? Can they steady the ship, hold it together until he comes back, or do they need LeBron and AD to have any shot?
Okay, I look at it like this. First, at the trade deadline, they made those moves, and they got immeasurably better. You can't deny that. They're an actual NBA team with an NBA roster. Before that, they were LeBron, AD, when healthy, Russell Westbrook running around, and a bunch of guys. Now they have a genuine NBA roster. They did a good job at the trade deadline. And I think what they did is put themselves in a position now to compete. And if they were healthy and they got to the playoffs, you don't want to see them. Let's acknowledge that. But this is the danger of going into business with LeBron James. This is the problem. Because the team is constructed so that he has to play, and he has to play well. Because Anthony Davis has not been able to assume that position yet. As we like to say on our show, doesn't have that dog in him. He just doesn't grab it. You just can't go to him. He doesn't take charge. And that's why he was brought in, but he hasn't done that. So when you go into the LeBron business and everything is built around LeBron, he can't get hurt. Sure, he can miss some games here and there, but you hope you have a roster, which they do now, to be able to pick up the slack. But in a situation, if there are 20 games left and you've got to win 16 more, and you don't have him, and you don't have now D'Angelo Russell, who's hurt, maybe he'll be back, and you know Anthony Davis has not been able to assume command, you're in big, big trouble. And therein lies the danger of being in the LeBron business. Everything is LeBron-centric, so you must build around him. He's sort of the brain. At all costs, protect the brain. Because the brain is the object that makes everything go.
Right.
The brain. Well, what if the brain gets hurt? What if something happens to the brain?
But this is why whenever you talk about the Lakers, it's always, what do you say before you say any statement about the Lakers? If LeBron and AD stay healthy, you have to say that, right, as a crutch statement, because you just can't say, oh, you don't want to see the Lakers. Well, if LeBron and AD are healthy, you don't want to see the Lakers. But the chances, you said it earlier before this came down, what are the chances that both of them are going to be able to finish out the last 20, Fred, and be healthy? And here we go with the bad news about LeBron.
If they had this roster from the beginning of the year, and the conversation, why didn't they do something earlier? Well, the deals presented to them would not have been as beneficial as this one. So let's just silence that part of it and say, okay, Rob Pelinka, who's made a number of moves, their GM, that have not worked, and made the Lakers look pretty bad. Give him credit where credit is due, because he was able now to put something together. We give him that. And if they had had this roster and they had started the season this way, and LeBron misses a game here, misses a game there, they're going to be okay because they have more depth. The problem now is, with the clock ticking and little room for error, this is the one guy you can't afford to lose. You could lose AD. And with the new players they brought in, you'd be in every game. If you lose LeBron, with the clock ticking, you're in huge trouble. The dangers of going into the LeBron business. So here in Los Angeles, people that thought that was a great deal, which it was for the Lakers, and everybody got excited, which they did. The truth is, without LeBron, if they don't make the playoffs, the season, that deal is an epic fail. Epic fail. It is disastrous. It's another year they don't make the playoffs with LeBron James.
Which would be 3 out of 5.
Yeah, and people here would go, well, look till next year. Here's what you have to understand. When you're in Los Angeles, next year is right now. You got to win now here in this city. In some places, you got to pass.
In some places like Madison Square Garden, they just celebrated their last championship team, the 1973 New York Knicks. Just think about that.
1923. But you got to win here. It's very competitive, and there are a lot of teams. And if the Lakers don't make the playoffs, even though LeBron's at the scoring record, and even though Rob Pelinka pulled out this incredible deal, this is a total and complete disaster. And people won't put up with it. I mean, people have had enough. Just because you have LeBron, people want to win. And even in a city like Los Angeles, where you have a star who puts people in the seats, like LeBron James, they're not as apt to spend $7,000 or $5,000 for a courtside ticket to watch a team not make the playoffs. And you can only bank on hope and the future for so long. So if, in fact, he is really out for a sustained period of time, and because of that, Rob, they don't make the playoffs, this is a major, major fail for the Lakers. It's really bad.
And you talk about being in the LeBron business, but it's the same thing when they brought AD here to Los Angeles. He had a history of missing games. Like
they knew what they got.
They knew. Like you can act like, oh, this is unbelievable. It's not really.
No, they knew what they got.
Right.
They got a guy, when healthy and applies himself, is a top 5 player in the league. 2 operative terms: healthy, applies. And he's been healthy, but there are games that he's kind of been absent.
We've seen some bad games, right? What was the other? A few nights ago, he only scored 12 or 13 points.
Right. And they brought him here to be the heir apparent to LeBron, because ultimately the plan was you have LeBron, okay, find Robin to Batman.
And you know what, Fred? When they won the championship in the bubble, I thought that, because remember, AD was great.
He had a very good series, yeah.
I thought the next year, LeBron, you go to push to the back, let him try to win an MVP, be that guy, and then you get LeBron along slowly and be ready for the postseason, but let AD be the guy. He came back, if you remember, after the bubble year, out of shape, didn't play well. You remember it was bad, and he's never really fully recovered. This guy, after you win that championship, Fred, and you have it in your back pocket, you should be going for MVPs and Defensive Player of the Year and all the other stuff that you could do. He's a young guy. Pile that up. You already got your championship. Didn't happen.
Well, the word was that he had a poor off-season work ethic. And even Magic Johnson at one point said, maybe you need yoga. Maybe you need a different regiment during the off-season.
And he wanted to mix some strawberries in the yoga? Oh, that's yogurt.
That was, again, really bad.
I'm sorry.
Really bad.
Okay.
But it didn't work. And now it's just so perilous because LeBron's hurt. Maybe he comes back. Maybe. I mean, they said it could be for what? An indefinite period of time?
The report says, it's indefinite.
Okay.
So I mean, they're being nice. I don't think they want to let you know
anytime.
Like he's out for the regular season. They don't want to put that out there because they don't want to scare the team or the fan base. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, and they also said we're getting a second opinion.
Right.
Remember, anytime you get a second opinion,
it's bad.
It's bad.
Right.
Right. Because if it's not bad, we look at it and go, you'll be out 3 games.
You could easily do that. And now they're like, yeah, we got a
second opinion. So is AD the guy to carry him? I don't know. But I know this. There's as good a chance of him carrying them as there is of him getting hurt. And then what do you do?
Well, then you're throwing the total towel in.